We'll reconvene the board meeting now. Please stand for the flag salute and also remain standing for the invocation. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bow your heads for a moment of silence, please. Thank you.
Okay, revision, adoption, ordering of the agenda. Do we have any changes?
Mr. President, the administration would like to move consent item 1018 over to the action calendar. If that's okay with the governing board?
Any objections? Okay. Yeah, we'll move 1018 over to action. Thank you. Can I have a motion?
So, second.
Okay, Joan won that one, and Ed. Okay, please vote.
Dave, you want me to?
Oh, okay. It worked finally. Yeah.
I have to keep going. Go to current item because it's not going on its own. So.
Oh. Okay. Report out of closed session.
There's no report this evening out of closed session, Mr. President.
Okay. Thank you. CSEA President Robert Colvin. Noah Stockey.
No, but what happened to the update by the superintendent? Did it somehow get is there a message here? Whoops. Okay. All right.
That's even.
It somehow got deleted.
Somehow.
Did you get a message that I hadn't heard about? It's up to you how you want to proceed.
Well, since he's not here, could you please give us a quick update on the district?
Yeah. I generally do that. Thank you very much. Thank you, Governing Board. It's a pleasure to see you. And the Governing Board shook, we estimate, 2,600 sets of hands at graduations and promotions. And this year, the Governing Board, each member spoke at a specific graduation or promotion, and we really appreciate that. It was great. People don't get a chance sometimes to hear from you, and so I thought that was exceptional. And I thought you were very humorous, Mr. Nelson, when you said, I'm going to be using my iPad, not a Chromebook, to give this speech. But anyway, we had some great end-of-the-year celebrations. And
I also, just to interrupt him here,
Please.
I also appreciate them doing that because doing 6 all by yourself gets to be very old very quick. So thank you, Board.
Yeah, thank you again. And it was, I really want to thank, obviously, the staffs for putting on some great shows. And, you know, graduation, when I came here, it's kind of a singular event, stands by itself, but sometimes grandparents and uncles and aunts, the only time they ever see any of our schools is at graduation. And if graduation looks like Fast Times at Ridgemont High, then that's pretty much how they view our schools. And clearly we don't have Fast Times at Ridgemont High for 179 days, and we want to make sure graduation is something to remember. And I speak pretty regularly at Paloma Valley and at Paris High School. They asked me to come to the senior week to speak to them, and I talk about graduation being the wedding ceremony, not the reception. Please don't get the two confused. But I also tell them about sober graduations, and we've had some unfortunate accidents in the last few years. We've lost students during graduation week, and when people talk about our students, it's always nice to see them at graduation and see those shining faces that are going off to the military, the world of work, and many of them going to some of the most prestigious universities in this state and out of the state. And I know Mr. Nelson and I trade off asking, what college are you going to? Because you look like you got a lot of chords here. You look like a really accomplished student. And so, again, I thank our teachers and our classified staff and parents and students for putting together what I consider a great end of the year. Summer school started on Monday. So the last graduation was Friday night at Paris High School. And then summer school started at Heritage, at Pinacati, and at Paris Lake on Monday. And we're doing credit recovery, which we've been doing for a long time, extended school year for special ed students. And, of course, we're now doing accelerated. We're getting students the opportunity to get ahead in some classes so they can take some electives that they wouldn't ordinarily be able to take. And so over 900 students in summer school, so quite a good percentage of our population, about 9% of our students, so that's nice. As you know, Board, every year since I've been here, maybe even before, Joe Williams and other teachers and students have been involved in the Solar Cup, which is a chance to take your boat that you work on all year, that you have to build, you have to design, you have to have students play different roles on the team, and they go out and they compete. This year they competed against 40 other teams at Lake Skinner the weekend before Memorial Day, and I think we're up to 13th, but what a great learning activity. And I've asked Mr. Williams, and I think you have a student, to come and speak about it. So I'll turn it over to you. And he's wearing the Solar Cup T-shirt.
We do have our main student here. This is Michael Duran, and he was our skipper, and I think he's been with the team for 3 years. Michael did every event on the water. He did the 2 qualifications. He did the 2 90-minute endurance heats, and he did the two sprint heats. And so Michael Duran has a few things he'd like to tell you.
Hello. I like to say is I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy that I did the solar boat, and it was really fun just to learn and just putting the boat together and then just to race it on the water. It was real fun. It's not like it's all about winning, but it's just for fun. I'm just saying this to say thank you.
And the the boat will always, it's an application we have to apply to the water company, and then they only have a certain number of teams that they can select. And so EMWD is our local sponsor, and they only get 3 spots. And one of the things that I plan on doing always is there'll always be a Paris Union team. I don't think they could exclude Paris if we apply as a district boat every year. I seriously don't think that they want to exclude Paris. So this will be a district boat because I know Jonathan's going to be very vocal, and I would be very vocal too. So this, as a district boat this year, we have Jed Butler from Paloma Valley. We had Jackie Cooper from Paris High School as the advisor, and then Stacy McPherson for the advisor at Heritage. And next year, those 3 will be advisors, and as a district team, they'll come together to build the district boat and compete. So this is Jed Butler, who is graciously allowing me to take something off my plate, and he will be the advisor for Paloma Valley.
Good evening. One of the things I would like to add to other comments that have been said, and you guys, a lot of you have already heard about the boat and what it does, and some of you have even seen it as well. And Joe speaks of the team as a district team, And despite being from 3 separate high schools, you would have never guessed it while out at the campground. The students were initiating their own interactive activities. They were playing volleyball and frisbee and eating together and joking together and enjoying themselves with never even having a moment where they were separated somehow because of the separate high schools. So that's another big positive, just seeing the culture within the teams and how this might be something that the district can unify the schools in as well.
And so we did get 13th overall out of 40 teams. In the region, I got to pull this up because I can't remember. In the region, we got 4th for the region, for the inland region, and which was, I mean, the teams that were ahead of us were the teams that were taking the whole thing. Los Osos did extremely well. Moreno Valley did a great job, and they have a full-blown like STEM program, and their advisor actually built some of the parts years ago that we used to use. And so 4th overall, but in the inland division, we were 2nd place in the endurance. Michael was our endurance skipper, so he got 2nd place for our region and 3rd place in the sprint. And again, 13th overall. So it's not about the winning. It is about them building the boat from scratch. It's a 14-foot canoe. They build it from scratch with marine grade plywood. We bring it back to the shop. We outfit it with electric motors, with batteries, with solar panels, with all the safety gear that's needed. They also do 3 reports. They do a water conservation report. They do the physics of propulsion report, and they also kind of do a solar report on how the whole thing works. And they get a public service announcement, which is a minute water conservation theme. So there's a ton of stuff to this. It isn't just solar powered. It's a whole environmental thing. So if you have any questions for any of us, I can wait. You have questions for Michael here, or Jed, or myself?
Just a comment. I did go there when you were having the endurance thing, and you pointed him out to me out there in the middle of the lake, and I needed a binoculars to see him, but he was the one with the white shirt, and there was a red shirt passing him at the time, and
Yeah.
it was interesting. I appreciate doing this for our students, and hopefully they appreciate getting to know kids at the other schools and had a good time. So thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm very proud. It almost happens every year that Mrs. Kathy Hakala, the culinary arts teacher from Paris High School, is here to announce some great news about a college-bound student. So I won't take it from you, Mrs. Hakala. Let you introduce the student and tell us all about her.
Well, thank you again to the board for supporting the culinary arts program, the students of the past and now our future with the new culinary program coming up. But yes, for years now, we either have a silver medal or a gold medal. We had a gold in culinary this year. We had a 10th grader. And then we had Monica here that did really well. They said you did really well in regions, but then they sent us an email, hey, her points were so high, let's advance her to state. So she went to the state competition. And one other thing I want to say about state competition is that it's not just show up and let's start cooking. It's a resume type of a work portfolio. It is a exam in either culinary baking, 50-question, and what is Skills USA, which is the national organization that is housed at the California Department of Education. So I'm going to let Monica tell us about her experience and what the big last day of school, she comes crying, hey, I have a surprise to tell you. It's like, yay. So she's going to tell you her surprise.
Well, my surprise was that I told Ms. Hakala that I'm going to Johnson & Wales because I got a $25,000 scholarship to go to attend.
Wow.
And because of that, it was because of Ms. Hakala. Thanks to her, I participated in Skills USA, and I entered competition. I was scared, I'm not going to lie, but it was an experience that I'll never forget, and I loved it. and I wish I could redo it over. I met lots of people. I even met my old friends from Rancho over there. So yeah, it was a great experience. Now I'm gonna go proceed my future for culinary in Colorado, in Denver.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you. Oh, and I brought snickerdoodle cookies today.
Oh. Well, you don't even have to buy them off anymore. Great job.
I baked them.
Thank you very much.
The snickerdoodles was one of the recipes she had to have it do at state competition. So she said, okay, I'm going to bring them some snickerdoodles.
And Mrs. Hockler, isn't it true, though, when they go to these competitions, they don't know until they get there what they're actually going to make? They don't really get a lot of chance to prepare.
Yeah, not much chance, but we have a basic, okay, we know we're going to probably have to do a pie. We're probably going to have to do a cookie. We're probably going to have to do some kind of muffin, and we usually have to do some cake decorating, which she just went from probably 10 to 100 with her cake decorating skills. A lot of practice, but that's what it takes, and a lot of dedication. I think one of her other thrills is her cousin, Esmeralda Tenorio, just finished her her training at Johnson & Wales University, baking and pastry major, and decided to stay at the school to do her culinary. So she's going to be rooming with her cousin from Paris, California. So that's another exciting part for her. She's like, I'm going to be with my cousin. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Hockler. Well, at the end of the school year, they have the state finals in track and field, as you know. And I got from Coach Charles Wakeman, a teacher and coach at Heritage. He says, I wanted to let you know that Tori Atkins of Heritage High School participated in the CIF state track meet this weekend. Last year, we had our first state qualifier. This year, we had our first state finals qualifier. Tori ran a 6th place in the 110 hurdles, earning a spot on the podium and a medal. So really, really proud, and wanted the board and the public to know about that one as well. I think you already have heard the news that not too many school districts can brag that Miss USA went to and graduated from one of their high schools, but Nia Sanchez from Paloma Valley, a 2008 graduate, is now Miss USA, and they're scrambling where the city would like her to come get a proclamation. Of course, I know Mr. Williamson is trying to work hard maybe to get her to come and do an assembly and talk about what you can do if you dream and you work hard. And everything we've gathered on Nia as a student is positive. Mr. Wilson, who worked with her in ASB, said that she had worked with Mr. Morris, the principal at the time, on getting gowns for girls who can't afford to go to prom, and that she helped organize that and make sure the girls had private time where no one else would see that obviously they're struggling financially and need to look for a gown. And so it really speaks to her character. And everybody at Paloma, every teacher said she was just a dream student and a good person. So we're really proud of her as well. As we finished the school year, as you know, this was the year we implemented Scholar Plus, and all of our students had Chromebooks. And my son lives in the community, and so his next-door neighbor tells me all the time she's going to be a senior at Paloma, and Mr. Williams, she's decided to keep her Chromebook over the summer and work on it, so we're really proud of that. But you just need to know, Governing Board, we thought this was going to be somewhat successful and, slow start, because certainly we don't have any role models out there in terms of school districts doing it, but it's been successful beyond our imaginations, not only from the classroom where the teachers are using technology and engaging their students to a greater degree, but also it involves a lot of other people. And we've talked to you about the technology department, and I got a really great email from Dr. Dottie Peters, a language arts teacher at Paloma Valley High School. And she said, I just wanted to take a minute to thank Roger Saley and Syed Abdullah. I don't know if you see all the work they do to make your classrooms run more efficiently. This week we tried something new, checking out Chromebooks to students for the summer. As far as I know, no other school has attempted this, so we had nothing to which to base the plans. Roger and Syed made everything work with time to spare. They are innovative, flexible, efficient, and conscientious. They want to make things easier for us, the teachers, and they did this week. They're definitely team players, and she thanked them. And I think it's kind of, while these are two great players, I would say a lot of our technology, most of our technology people, if not all of them, provide that kind of service to teachers and to kids and families to try to make this whole technology revolution work. So I certainly wanted to thank you, Mr. Williams. Please pass the word on to you and Mr. Pinnell, to the whole team, for a job well done. That it's been successful and will continue to be successful just because of the great customer service that technology provides to the district. Also, I want to think that we had a board meeting last week, and as you know, this is the first time in the history of the state that we're now doing local control accountability plans and the money that goes along with it, and try to improve student achievement, especially for English learners, for students in poverty, for foster children. And while we rolled out a plan for you last week, I have to tell you, and I think you know, but I want to brag, that the plan took over a year to put together, and Marcy Savage and her team engaged parents and students and teachers and classified employees and community members like never before to try and find out what are the things we need to do better. What can we dream? What can we do? How can we make students more successful? And publicly, I want to thank you, Marcy, for putting together a great plan. Obviously, we'll see how the money goes from Sacramento, if they're going to give us all the money we need to do everything we need, but certainly doing more for those students and all of our students is something worthwhile, and everybody's proud of the work that we've been able to do. I want to remind the board that we have a facilities meeting on July 16th at the regular board meeting, so that board meeting will start at 3 o'clock with a facilities meeting.
Goody.
I know you just love facilities meetings. So I thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Greenberg. Next item, Paul Clay, President of PSCA.
Good afternoon, board. Once again, I thank you for this opportunity to address you, and I hope you're all happy. Does that help? Yes. Okay. We have been working with the district and the PRCs to attempt to resolve some of the differences between us. And while at times it feels like we're taking 2 steps backward, we are taking 1 step forward as well. But we still have some very serious issues to work out. Mostly having to do with dealing in a relationship between the administrators at the sites and the members themselves. I did find myself in the unusual position, as you are aware, of actually having to defend an administrator here against an accusation from a member of the public. But beyond that, what we are still seeing is in the last week of school, for instance, I represented 2 members over situations that should never have occurred. One of them was a false accusation against the member, which was clearly supported by the evidence that was collected by the administrator. And the other was a demand, not a demand, but a statement in an email to a member suggesting that they would take away his, illegally take away his stipend for a dispute that they were having. These are the kind of things that are happening. They're very serious because they play with the members' pay. They play with the members' professionalism, their job, their career. And we are still fighting to defend them over some of these very serious accusations that are unfounded, or in cases of complaints against the administration over actions or conduct that is unreasonable. More details on this will be coming forward, but I do want to emphasize that while on the one hand we are still making some progress, there are some very serious issues that still cause friction between us. And I guess really that's all I have to say for now. But I will present to you, each of you, the information and more about things that have been happening just in the last week of school, for instance. And I thank you for your time, and once again, I hope you have a good summer.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Just for the record that Rob Colvin could not be here this evening. Okay, invitation to address the Board of Trustees. Person wishing to be heard by the board shall first be recognized by the president and then shall proceed to comment as briefly as the subject permits. Speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda or non-agenda item. Board shall limit total time for public input in each item to 20 minutes. Okay. I have one individual that would like to speak tonight, Carl Johnson from the Paris Valley Arts and Activities Committee.
First, let me say good evening to the board, superintendent, administrators, and the public. I know I got more than 3 minutes, but I'll try to condense it into 3 minutes. First of all, my name is Carl Johnson Sr., and I'm from the Paris Valley Arts and Activities Committee. And what we do is we sponsor a local athletic club, basically basketball and track. And the board is going to be looking at an agenda coming up, I think it's 10.41, on facility usage and fees. And I'm here to ask the board to use some common sense when it comes to these kinds of items. Let me give you a brief history. Historically, clubs in Paris and coaches have tried to get these facilities in Paris, and we've been asked to pay up to $1,700, $1,800, up to $2,000 for these fees to host a basketball tournament or a clinic. No way we can afford that. Let me just stop and say that if anybody think that I'm a coach, I'm about $2,000 in the hole. When we go to a tournament, I pick these kids up my expedition. The gas money comes out of my pocket. The kids go, some don't have food. I feed them. And there are times when if we got to pay for the tournament, it comes out of my pocket. So if anyone thinks that we make money off of this stuff, I beg to differ. But going back to a little historical perspective, Heritage and Paloma have been doing contracts for years, and we in Paris have been told we couldn't, hadn't told us about it. I finally figured out that they were doing contracts. So I came in and said, well, I would like a contract the same or similar to what they're doing. Well, suddenly now that these contracts have been discovered by people in Paris, they are no longer feasible. Now they have done what they call a study. And so now they have come up with new fees, which is better than they were, but sometimes you got to use common sense when doing this stuff. But it's amazing how that it took 3 or 4 years to figure out that these contracts were not feasible for the district. So I would ask the board to find out who was in charge of signing off on these contracts, because I'm sure somebody in the district signed off on these contracts. And it's always the Paris community who gets left behind. Let me repeat that. It's always the Paris community who gets left behind. And I think it's time that we stop this. I hope that this district is an equal opportunity district, because if it is, then you're going to do right by the citizens of Paris, Menifee, and everywhere else that the district has boundaries. But so far, it hasn't been good to Paris. So I'm going to ask the district that please allow us to have access to these facilities with just some common sense stuff. Most of the districts in this area and most coaches, they leave this area because they are allowed to go into these school sites and they practice doing custodian hours, and there's no fee charged to them. So some of our Paris students, athletes, they go outside of Paris to other clubs and join those clubs because they do have access to facilities, at least for practice, and there's no charge. But there's a charge for everything in this district that we try to do in the city of Paris, at the Paris High School. There's a charge for it. That's unfair. We got to realize that these facilities belong to the communities.
Hey, Mr. Johnson, your time is up.
Okay.
Someone from the district will be contacting you in the next week or so to deal with these issues. Okay, consent calendar. Do we have a motion, please?
Second.
Okay, any questions about anything? Okay, please vote. Okay. Okay, oral reports, introduction of promoted and or new employees if necessary.
Yes, well, we've got a few people to introduce tonight. At the last board meeting, the governing board approved the new principal for Paris Lake High School. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce former assistant principal of Paloma Valley, Mr. Dean Hauser. Please come to the podium. Like the kids, you've got it on your Chromebook or your tablet? Yeah. Okay. Make sure the mic's on.
All right. Thank you. I want to take this time to thank both the board and the cabinet for this incredible opportunity. And I look forward to being a part of the wonderful team at the Lake and Adult Ed. I would also like to thank my lovely wife, Marcy, for her patience and willingness to put up with me. The best part of my day is going home to her, and for whatever strengths I may have, they are the result of being with her. Again, thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to the great things that are going to happen at both the Lake and Adult Ed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. And Marcy, why don't you stand up? We recognize Mrs. Hauser. And his partner, coming over as assistant principal at Paris Lake High School, Mr. Brett Bourbeau. Brett, you want to say a few words, Brett? You can if you want, Brett. Sounds like the superintendent directed you, huh?
I just want to thank the cabinet and board for the opportunity to serve again in this capacity. It's an extreme pleasure and honor to be able to continue working in this district in this manner so I can help not just students, but work with my boss now and help teachers become better educators to serve these students better. So thank you very much. Really appreciate the confidence you have in me.
Thanks, Brett. And tonight, after many years toiling as TOSAs, and we couldn't with the opportunity, with the fiscal situation we were facing, really give them the titles of the jobs that they've been performing for a while. I'd like to introduce our first new coordinator of educational services, Ms. Diane Martin. You're going to get a picture.
Oh, Marcy.
This is a moment.
Okay. Good evening, President Holstrom, board members, Superintendent, Dr. Greenberg, and cabinet members. I am humbled and appreciative for the opportunity to continue to serve for the Paris Union High School District in an administrative capacity as coordinator of educational services. The Paris Union High School District has been my home for 22 years, 10 years as a classroom teacher and 12 years as a TOSA. So I'm very honored and excited to continue our endeavors to bring new programs and opportunities for our students, our community, and our parents and our staff. Obviously, I would not be able to do this and the time commitments without the support of not only my colleagues, my boss, Marcy, but my family. And I have them with me here tonight. My Mr. Mom, who's just, when I'm not home, he makes sure dinner's on the table, the dishes are done. That's all I can ask for. I'm very happy about that. So I have Ron, my youngest one, Michael, who's will be in 8th grade, and my oldest one, Bill, who, sorry.
Mom, don't call me Billy.
No, I'm sorry. I know it is a mom thing. So without their support, they keep me focused, they keep me centered. They are my purpose in life, and without their support and their ability to be able to manage on their own, I wouldn't be able to spend those long, lovely evenings with Marcy and the crew behind me. So I thank them, and I thank you for the opportunity to be able to continue to serve in this district. Thank you.
Just so everybody knows, Diane has been instrumental in federal and state projects, making sure we apply for the grants and get the extra money for our kids. But she's been instrumental in bringing a parent university to Paris, where parents are getting an education on technology and how to feed their family better and just a whole host of other things. And so, Diane, we're very proud of you, and we wish you well in your new position. The new coordinator of Ed Services, the second person to be recognized, is Mr. Charles Tippy. Mr. Tippy, please come forward.
Good evening, members of the board, district cabinet. I just have a lot of thank yous tonight, so I'm really grateful for the board for entrusting me in this new position. It's both an honor and a privilege to serve both the students and the teachers of our Paris High School District. Also want to thank Dr. Greenberg and Marcy, all the district cabinet, and also Mr. Grant Bennett for your guidance and leadership and support. Last 6 years, I've been in a really unique position where I get to go to a lot of county meetings and talk to district administrators all throughout this area, and I take advantage of that to ask a lot of questions, and to be honest, I'm pretty snoopy. I ask questions on, how are you implementing SBAC? What are you doing with Common Core? And the one thing I've taken away that there's no other district within the 23 in the county that I'd rather work than the Paris Union High School District. So just really thankful and appreciative to everyone. Also wanted to thank my family that's here tonight. My wife, Janet, she's put up with me for 10 years, so thank you for your love and support. I also have my two sons here, Charlie, who's going to be, can you wave, buddy? He's going to be going into the third grade. He'll be the first third grade class to take the Smarter Balance assessments next year, so we're really excited about that.
Will he be taking it on a Chromebook, though, in Murrieta?
Well,
Never mind.
conversation. Might be calling Grant to do some tutoring next year because third grade math is tough. And then I also have my younger son, Christopher, who is going into pre-K next year, and he also has a full-time job of keeping his mom and I on our toes. And so thank you all for your support. So thank you.
Thank you. And so everybody knows, Charles is not just a leader in our district, but a leader in the state in SBAC, Smarter Balanced Assessment Consortium, the new testing. He has been just instrumental in bringing all that knowledge to us, letting us try it, play with it, practice on it, and also provides a lot of information to teachers in the classroom on assessments they're giving and how it informs them and informs their instruction. So congratulations, Charles. I'm also going to introduce Brian Morris, who's not new, our Director of Special Education. Brian, do you have, I know we are hiring 4 new ERMS counselors, so why don't you tell everybody what ERMS is? And I think we only have 1 here tonight, but that's good. One out of 4 is okay.
Certainly. Good evening, President Holstrom, Board, and Cabinet, Community. Dr. Baez, come on up, please, while I'm talking here. It's my privilege to introduce the first of our 4 ERMS therapists tonight, and I'll take 30 seconds to explain. ERMS stands for Educationally Related Mental Health Services. 2 years ago, the state of California decided to turn over mental health therapy for youth to the schools with the money and everything. We no longer make referrals to county mental health. We now solve the problems in-house. And so our response as a district is to hire what we call ERMS therapists. And Dr. Gilkey Baez is our first one, and I'll talk a little bit about her. These individuals we've hired are all highly educated, licensed marriage and family therapists. They will be part of our site teams. We will have 1 therapist at each school site, and they'll be part of the special education site leadership teams, and they'll work with the counselors, the assistant principals, the DIS counselor, the school psychologist, the parents, the families, go to the homes, work with kids, and truly try to reach around the families to address the mental health needs as they arise. Ideally, we want them to work proactively and prevent the problems before they occur. They'll be trained in Boys Town, which will parallel PBIS and help our teachers to proactively prevent problems from occurring and keep our kids in school more. In the event that kids get into trouble and are having life's challenges, as Dr. Gilkey knows about, they can step in and provide that therapy that at a different level than we've had before. This is a home run. This is exactly what we've been looking for. We have 3 more coming, so I don't know. Tanya may have me come speak next month, too. Grant Bennett probably doesn't want me to, but I'll probably come up again. But I'd like to introduce Dr. Rebecca Gilkey Baez.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me? Good evening, members of the board. Thank you for having me here. I'm very excited just to give you a brief introduction of who I am, to be coming back to kind of where I started in 97 when I was doing my internship for my master's. I was in La Habra City School District, working with the gang prevention unit, working with the underprivileged, underserved kids. And then through the course of my career, I've had the opportunity not only to be in academia to teach doctoral level classes, but also have a private practice. And currently, you had mentioned the counties and having the services from the counties. I'm with the County of San Bernardino currently for another week. And then I'll be coming here. But the AB 2627, the services that came from the county into the districts, is something that I've had the opportunity on both levels to work with. So I'm very excited to get back not only to my roots where I started, but also to bring those services to the community. So I thank you for your time and for the opportunity, and I look forward to working with each one of you.
Thank you. That's it.
Reports RB Enterprises presentation.
Do you want to help introduce this, Tanya? Yeah.
Charles, your glasses are right here. I don't want you to forget them. I would like to invite Ramon Ramos and Cynthia Sotelo to come up here to the podium for a minute. I need to give a huge thank you to Mr. Ed Agundis for calling me when I was on vacation in Virginia in March and said, hey, I met this really great guy and they do this wonderful attendance incentive program in the high desert, and I want you to talk to them. So met with him, and he shared with me all the great things that they're doing. And I have to give a special thanks to Nick Newkirk, who helped me outline the contract and meet all the requirements of the district, which is not my forte at all. And Charles Newman for helping a bit. But we feel that we have a contract that we can live with, and they are going to bring an exciting program. And I'm not going to steal one bit of their thunder. I'm going to let Ramon share that with us. But welcome, Ramon Ramos.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm excited to be here. I appreciate the opportunity, the board to hear us, the superintendent, and also the cabinet. I also want to give a special thanks to Ed Agundis for hearing me out and for speaking actually a lot of wisdom to me on that day, and I appreciate it. I took everything he said to heart. And I also want to thank Tanya Davis for all of her hard work and working together with our team to be able to bring the program this far. I'm the CEO of a company called RB Enterprises, and we are a business solutions company. We were based in San Bernardino County, and we have now been moving aggressively towards Riverside County. Upon being a consultant there, I had a client, Victorville Motors, that was running a program, and it was a program with the school districts there. And I want to just briefly go over some of the highlights of the program and how it works and why we're so excited to bring it here to the Paris Union High School District. We want to look at the opportunity, also the proven success, and how it works. Here we see, according to a report by the Campaign for College Opportunity, the path is clear. If California's economy is to have the college-educated workforce it needs, we must find ways to significantly improve college rates. Obviously, before we can get them to college, our first goal is to get our students to graduate high school. This is a way that we can change the trajectory of our community. We're excited because we have seen great results where kids that were formerly not interested in going to school have now had perfect attendance, and we're going to look at some of their stories really briefly here. Due to budget cuts, limited supplies, and vital programs being discontinued, which I believe everybody's aware of, students have been finding less enthusiasm to participate in school. We now have a chance to change the trajectory of the community by implementing an incentive-based program. Instead of just a punitive action, we believe that incentives are ways to motivate our students to begin to have higher goals when it comes to their education. We propose for the 2014-15 academic school year, any student with perfect attendance in the Paris Union High School District will be eligible to win a variety of incentives up to a brand new car. We want to first take the opportunity also to appreciate our partners at Victorville Motors. They're true innovators, and they're ones that helped establish this program and perfect this program. We have some proven success statistics that took place there in the high desert. In 2010 and 2011, this would be before the program was implemented, only 200 students had perfect attendance. After the first year of this program being implemented, 2011, 2012, 963 kids had perfect attendance and were eligible for this new car. The second year, 1,425 students were eligible and had perfect attendance. We just closed out this last year. Close to 1,600 kids were eligible for the new car. Actually after this year, I've been told that approximately $5 million in incremental funds have been raised for the school district because of this program. So it is an extremely effective program as we've seen it there in the high desert. When I first called Tanya Davis about it, she said, "Is this one of these gimmicks where nobody really wins the car?" And I said, "No, this is real. You're going to get to see who drives away with a car." And so here are some testimonies of the kids that won. We can see that Sydney, who had never had perfect attendance before, she said, "I didn't think I would win it. I really didn't. I never won anything before. I won a car." Blake also never had perfect attendance. "I just won a car. I'm happy. I've never won anything. I'm speechless. It's awesome. I just won a brand new car for just showing up to school." And I really love what the superintendent, Suzette Davis, said. "The increase in our attendance overall has been incredible. Our perfect attendance percentage was amazing. This program has been the catalyst for the surge. Overall, the key success is getting kids to school for their education. The bonus for us has been the additional revenue for our district. Win, win, win." How does it work? RB Enterprises will be responsible for soliciting the sponsors to provide all incentives that will include and can include, obviously, the new car. Throughout the year, we will be going to different events such as football games, basketball games, assemblies, and in that, we'll be giving away laptops to students. Whoever still has perfect attendance at that time will be drawing their names and giving laptops, tablets, TVs, game consoles, and gift cards throughout the year to keep them excited and motivated and focused on finishing the school year with perfect attendance. The Paris Union High School District will be responsible for cascading all promo materials and information to students and parents via summer mailers, dollar system calls, flyers, poster placement, banner placement, and T-shirts. So the RB Enterprises will be responsible for purchasing all of the promotional material. The district will just cascade them so that all the students and the parents are aware of what's happening and can really be motivated to participate. We're excited to partner with the Paris Union High School District in implementing this program to increase attendance and revenue. And this is what we're looking at. Turn Up for Class, perfect attendance giveaway. One student will drive away in a new car and a $1,000 in scholarship funds at the end of the year. So again, we're excited. All of our team at RB Enterprises is so excited to partner with the Paris Union High School District, and we appreciate your time tonight.
I have a question. Tanya, and what about the future? I mean, this is just part of it, right? I mean, are there other possibilities?
I will share that Ramon and I have talked a lot. They started out with the student incentive program up in the high desert, and then the next year or two, they partnered along with CTA in a great relationship to offer the same program to their employees. So we want to see how this works this year, which I have every hope that it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. And then I would look forward to working along with CSEA and PSEA to see how we can partner together to open this up to employees who have perfect attendance as well.
So the employees, you're saying the employees can win a car? Wow.
Yes, they could.
Cabinet members are excluded, sorry.
Do you have any other questions? Thank you, Ramon.
That's a tough question.
Thank you very much. Okay, oral reports, security protocols at school sites.
Yeah, Mr. President, Trustee Twyman asked at the April board meeting for Charles Newman, myself, and maybe a little bit of Judy Miller to talk about how people get on campus. But I would like to, at least with the board's permission, move that to the July board meeting because Mrs. Twyman's not here tonight. So sorry you came in on your day off, Mr. Newman. If that's all right with the board.
Okay, is it okay? All righty, that's fine. Sorry, Charles. Maybe next month you'll have talk to do.
Maybe that one too.
Okay, oral reports, funding options for advanced placement testing.
Well, Mr. President, kind of the same thing on this one. This is Mrs. Twyman has been very passionate about making sure that all the students who are eligible to take an AP test are able to do it. And I know Mr. Tippy and Mr. Bennett are prepared to talk about it, but with your permission, we would ask that we move this to July again, only because Mrs. Twyman is, I know all of you are interested, but Mrs. Twyman has expressed great interest in this.
Okay. Gee, they're probably all disappointed about this, and they had their vacations all set up for next month. But anyway. Okay, written reports. Discipline report was given. Okay, action items, personnel board authorization to teach in a single subject area, Education Code 44865. Do you have a motion, please?
So moved.
Okay, Joan and Ed. Very briefly, what has to be done here?
Steve.
Basically, what we're asking here is for your permission to have some of our teachers teach in specialized areas that don't ordinarily fall under the normal credentials. We've got a couple teachers, one to teach home hospital students that would need those services, and then one to be an outreach for independent study students who require those services as well.
Okay, so basically the credential doesn't necessarily cover all the stuff that they'll be teaching.
Exactly.
Okay, this makes it legal for them.
Yes.
Any other questions? Okay, please vote. Okay. Action item, personnel, school site single plans for student achievement for 2014-2015, no fiscal impact.
So moved.
Second.
Who is the fast person over there? Is that Ed?
Governing board, if you may, before you vote on this, there are a couple of things that we want to clarify for the record. And Marcy, can you put up on the screen then we have a ethnicity report for Paris Lake High School that wasn't correct in the agenda, and for the record, we want to correct it. It's not life-threatening that we don't, but we certainly like, and we appreciate Mr. Holstrom catching some mistakes here on the part of our displaying this information in a way that makes sense.
So good evening. I'm going to ask Dr. Iglesias to join me. What had transpired is on the SIPSAs, we use document tracking systems, and it's an online template, so to speak. And oftentimes when we're downloading or it flows down to another, like to Microsoft Word, et cetera, that whole format gets readjusted or it needs realignment. So I asked Dr. Iglesias, because if you look on, I think it's page 6 in the SIPSA for Paris Lake High School, you can see that it just wasn't even tabled decently. You had to draw lines and arrows and everything to figure out what number went with what year. So I asked Dr. Iglesias to put it into a narrative, which he did, and then this is the re-clarification of the clarification. And I hope it kind of explains, because what in Paris Lake High School SIPSA plan, what they did was Dr. Iglesias shared 4-year overview of the racial ethnic breakdown. Excuse me. And so this just clarifies. I even went back and made sure that the percentages were correct because, when you see a template that's so skewed, you begin to question. So this explains that I don't need to go through. Mr. Holstrom, I know you had some questions, and so we're both here today, former Paris Lake High School principal, to help address any questions.
Okay, I just, as I sometimes or most of the time do, I read through these things that are in the agenda, and when I find something that kind of jumps out to me that doesn't make any sense, is this, I think it was originally a table on page 6 for Paris Lake. It was all over the page and no columns, and which, and I could probably figure it out eventually, but, if we want the public to read these things and understand them, we should make it so it's easy for them to do that, and that's why I rose a stink, I guess. So, this helps a great deal, and it's a vast improvement over what was there. So thank you very much for your time at doing this.
Well, and we thank you for editing. You have been our ultimate editor, so that was one oversight for us, and so I hope this clarifies. Any other questions on that?
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Please vote. Thank you. Okay, action item, Curriculum Common Core Implementation Plan Funding. Please, a motion, please.
Second.
David and Joan. Okay.
Well, we had a special board meeting on June 9th to talk about both the budget and LCAP, but we're prepared to answer any questions. It's gone through the county and with some slight minor modifications, nothing substantive. We're bringing it back for your approval.
Okay, anybody have any questions or about this? Okay, please vote. Okay. Okay, action item, Curriculum Local Control Accountability Plan. Motion, please.
Second.
That looked like a tie.
Close enough. Anybody have?
Board members, this is obviously we had the funding first and now the plan, and of course later on in the action we have the district budget. So prepared to answer any questions you might have about the plan.
Any questions? Okay, please vote. Well, I'll try again. No, this went ahead.
We've always heard it in Chicago, vote early, vote often, but now you didn't even get a chance to vote at all. Can we go back and at least do a voice vote on that, Mr. President? Would that be,
okay.
so that way Lori can get it into the record?
Did you catch the, yeah. Okay, everybody in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody disagree? Okay, let's go on.
So we're at 13.5?
Now we're at 13, oh.
What happened to 13.4?
That was we were supposed to vote on that.
Is this?
Oh, now it's back up. So now you get to vote again. You did it by orally, now you get it to.
There's David. Joan. Vote.
Let's see.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Okay.
Now, Building and Grounds, ratification of this resolution. Motion, please.
So moved. Second.
Ed and David. Okay, this is very quick.
This is the interim housing plan for Paris High School. As you know, this is a board-approved project. The reason this is a ratification is we divided this into a sub-phase, the interim housing phase, and all of that is just to keep the project on track and ensure Mr. Hilton has a place for all of his teachers and all of his students in about 45 days.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, please vote. Okay, action item, building and grounds. Motion, please.
Second.
Okay. Quick one on this one, please.
This is a settlement agreement for some of the water damage that we've had at Heritage High School since the onset of construction. This deals only with the windows and awnings and some of the block fill. Is that okay? Making sure Judy's giving me the head nod. That's the quick summary.
Okay. So they're paying for the damage and so it could be fixed.
Yeah, this will allow us to make the necessary repairs.
Okay. Please vote. Finally. Okay, building and grounds ratification of piggyback asphalt fabric and engineering with another district that has this already. Motion, please.
So moved. Second.
Okay, Joan and Ed. Quickly.
And this is to redo the turf at Paloma Valley High School. I think you probably recall from one of the facility study sessions or presentations we had just a few months ago. We talked about, Art and his crew have been repairing that turf over and over. And now that the budget's a little bit better and we haven't taken so much from his budget every year like we did to survive, he's finally able to replace that as has been needed for the last couple of years. So I know the Paloma staff is very excited about this project. Mr. Williamson.
Is this for the main field in the stadium?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And Art, this is the oldest AstroTurf we've got in the district, right? That's So, yeah. How old is it, Art? Do you know? About 8 years old.
Generally, AstroTurf, just for the board's information, lasts about 10 years, but because we have such high use, mainly with youth, in addition to our use of facilities, and that is in part why we collect use of facilities fees when we have to turn over our fields more quickly than their normal useful life.
Any other questions? Okay, please vote. Okay, action item, business adoption of the 2014-15 district budget. Do I have a motion, please?
Second.
Okay.
We gave you a formal presentation on June 9th, but want you to know that obviously we're waiting the governor's signature on the state budget. And while his May revise is close, the legislature made some changes, and we'll see if the governor makes changes to their changes. And we'll report back to you at the July board meeting with what those changes are in terms of hopefully more revenue for the district.
Okay, very good. Any questions? Please vote. Okay. Okay, information items, curriculum summer session 2014.
Just real brief, we opened Monday, and like Dr. Greenberg had shared, we have several pathways. We have extended school year, which is for special ed. We have 2 classes with that, averaging, let's see, Mr. Morris, 36 students, 37 students, I think, in those 2 classes. And then we're also offering credit recovery, which we have traditionally done in the past. We've taken it from a 3-week to a 6-week opportunity. Students are there 5 hours a day. And today I was at Heritage, and I just have to say, a couple teachers walked through, and one teacher said, boy, I already had 2 students who fulfilled their graduation requirements. That just kind of breaks your heart. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, 1 class was all you needed. But they finished. 8 classes were finished in one. There were 7 classes finished in another class. So the numbers are increasing. We're kind of keeping a lot of information on that. So it truly has given students an opportunity to recoup, and some of those classes they struggled with. And then also Grant Bennett has orchestrated what we call a summer bridge program, 2 math courses. You want to share a little bit about those, Grant?
What's happened is the middle schools were still offering Algebra 1. They hadn't shifted over to the Common Core program. So we have kids coming to us from Menifee and from Romoland Newview that were taking Algebra 1. Well, with our integrated program, they would have missed a geometry portion of the course. So we put a bridge program together to cover that geometry portion of the course. And this summer, we're going to have about 330 kids go through this bridge program. So they'll go in and start into Integrated 2 as their freshman year. So we're really excited about it. One of our stars, Miss Choi, is one of our star teachers in that, and Miss De La Paul doing that. So it's very exciting.
It's been our first attempt to help acceleration occur with incoming students. And then we are also offering two classes in conjunction with University of California at Riverside, and those are 2 math courses to assist students in getting ready for college. They're current seniors going on into college, and then also juniors who will be seniors next year. And then in addition, we offer a variety of acceleration classes. Students can get 1 year's credit, PE, a semester of health, art, Spanish 1, Spanish 2, U.S. history, world history, Algebra 2. So we opened with a big bang, and I think things went pretty well. So maybe I just look through different eyes, but we're very excited. So come visit at Heritage, also at Paris Lake. They're running recovery classes, and at Pinacati, they are also offering health. They have 56 students enrolled, and they are 8th graders going into 9th grade, Paris High students. So we're really proud that they can get a boost.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Okay. Okay, the revolving cash report, for those of you interested. Yeah. Okay, board policies, personnel series 4,000. Closed session?
One is not necessary, Mr. President.
Very good. Okay. Other items by the superintendent?
None.
Okay. Another good answer. Okay. Other items by the Board of Trustees? Ed?
Yeah, I wanted to bring up one thing, but I as I think about it, it may be more appropriate to when we reorganize, and that was July board meetings, the necessity for having it or not having it in July. So, but I'm thinking that when we set the meeting dates more in, what do we do that, December? That'd probably be the place to do it. Yeah, whether or not to have a meeting in July, that would be when we set the meeting dates for the following year.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, December is when that's kind of set for the following year.
So I think maybe I'll wait off on. I was going to ask for that to be put on a board agenda in the future, but I think it's going to come up
It
naturally.
comes up in
there.
December, yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's it.
Okay. David? None? Joan?
Well, I want to thank everyone for wonderful graduations. I thought they really went off really, really well, and that I know it's a lot of extra hard work, and congratulations. It's very good.
Yeah. My comments, the last month or so, I did attend all the senior awards ceremonies at all the high schools. It was very good, very well done, and I always enjoy seeing all these wonderful students that all of our schools have. The high school graduations, once my hand recovers, I'm usually pretty good with it all. I did receive at the Paris Rods and Rails festivity on Saturday that I always go to. I had people just come up to me out of the blue and just tell me how wonderful the graduations were, and they thought they were the best they've seen in recent time. These were usually grandparents that their grandkids have come and gone through the school system, and they really enjoyed them. So I think we're in a positive mode there. So it was good to talk to them. And motion for adjournment.
Second.
Okay. I guess it was David first, but he's fast for that. Okay, please vote.